Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a few things about Faction Wars. Now, as we all know, Faction Wars is a hot topic right now, and it's becoming a big priority for a lot of players because there is a new champion coming out relatively soon called Lydia the Deathsiren, and she's going to be probably the best champion in the game, and she's going to be a reward for completely finishing Faction Wars. As you can see here, if I pull up the invisibility cloak, down there in the bottom left, I am 819 out of 819. I have completed Faction Wars, so I'm going to rank all the factions from easiest to toughest in my experience, so you can get an idea of what you're up against in some of these faction crypts. And then I'm also going to be providing you a resource that will help you plan your Faction Wars journey and get everything laid out in one location, because there isn't really a good way to do it in game. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, let's go ahead and pull up the rankings that I did here for Faction Wars, and just keep in mind that this is my journey, and each player is probably going to have a little bit of a different experience based on the champions they have and how their account is kind of shaking out. But in terms of my journey to complete Faction Wars, this is the ranks from 1 to 13 in the red all the way down to the green in terms of toughest to easiest. So Knight Revenant was a crazy stage for me. It was very hard. If you don't have Soulless, who is a Void Legendary, so a lot of you don't, that faction is very difficult to complete. I would say the top three were pretty easy to determine. Knight Rev, Dwarves, and Skinwalkers were definitely the three hardest for me, and then there's a next tier after that. Oryx and Ogryn were also very difficult. Undead, Bannerlords, and Lizardmen were all manageable, along with the Sacred Order. Lizardmen was able to cheese with the Skull-Lord Vargal fusion, and Skullsworn, you can kind of use Skullsworn to tank damage and then revive him every turn. So as long as you do that fusion, you can kind of cheese it. I have a video talking about that strategy. The Dark Elves Demon Spawn were difficult. I mean, they're all difficult. You need good champions and good gear, but then when we get towards the bottom here, they're a lot easier than the ones at the top. And then Barbarians and High Elves have a lot of good options. Barbarians have epics and rares that are very good in Marked and War Maiden, all sorts of, and then there's a login reward, Still of the Drakes, which is absolutely incredible for Faction Wars, based on defense, does revive and heals. And then High Elves, once you get your Arbiter for your mission rewards, you should be able to do High Elves with like Arbiter and then epics, or even rares, because the High Elves have Apothecary, one of the best rares in the game. And then if you have Arbiter as well from your mission rewards, once you've been playing for a while, right there is the start of a solid team. Arbiter and Apothecary, boom, you've got your revives and your support taken care of with your speed upgrades. And then you can use people like Tyrell and Royal Guard, and you'll be able to crush through stage 21 as long as you have decent gear. So in my opinion, High Elves is pretty undisputable as the easiest faction. I would say with relative certainty that High Elves is going to be the most commonly completed faction by the raid player base. And then those three up at the top, Knight Rev, Dwarves, and Skinwalkers, are probably the three that are the least completed by the player base. And I do have dedicated videos for almost all of these factions. I think there's about 2 or 3 that I still need to get to. I think like Skinwalkers and Dwarves, and maybe one other one that I don't have, Ogryn Tribes maybe, that I don't have a dedicated video on, but I'm going to be working on getting those out to you guys so that I can get a dedicated resource for each and every faction, diving into the last boss that you're going to be going up against in stage 21, and getting every champion graded, making an infographic, and trying to get those resources out to you. But I didn't want to wait on this because a lot of people are really curious about Faction Wars, and now that I have finished Faction Wars recently, I thought it was a good time to put together a resource so that other people can get this planned and hopefully complete their journey and get Lydia. So without further ado, here is the resource that I have put together. It's a spreadsheet that is, it's got a bunch of different tabs on the bottom. It's all color-coded and shows what boss you are going to be up against in stage 21. You can see here on the Bannerlords, we've got the blue icon right here. That means you're up against the blue boss on stage 21. High Elves, you're up against the yellow boss on stage 21. So it's all going to be nice and laid out in one resource for you. Once you go to the link that I'm going to provide down in a pinned comment to get to the sheet, so that you can plan your Faction Wars rosters, all you got to do is go to File and Make Copy, and then you will have it on your account. And the nice thing is, if you don't like how I designed this, you can use it as just a template. You can change things. You can be like, oh, I want this instead of this, and you can really tailor this to fit your needs and what you want for it. So all this is designed to be is so that you don't have to spend hours making this yourself. You can take what I built and then customize it to what you want. So you can, down at the bottom, I've got all the factions nice and laid out, color coded, ready to go. And I did a few of the first ones here as an example of how I thought about using it. Now, you can see I wrote stage 21 finished on all these because I have completed faction wars and I've done them all. So you can change that to what stage you're on. You know, you say, hey, I'm currently on stage 18. And I'm going to plan out my roster here, start putting in your champions. There's drop-down menus on the masteries and the books. So you can really keep track of who you've invested in, what you're currently working on, and then you can make notes I'll just walk through you here on a couple of my teams. So Bannerlords. Okay, so currently on stage 21, finished. But I've got Lugan, Sathalia, Lord Champfort, Stag Knight, and Septimus. And then once I lay out their roles in the gear and the notes, you can see here I've got Lord Champfort and Stag Knight that are both doing attack down and then breaking the defense of the boss, which is the toughest part of the fight. So there's an opportunity there to maybe replace somebody. And then down in the notes, I wrote about a 50% win rate on stage 21. Lugan can die with bad RNG because of Ally Protect. Farming stage 20 for consistency and look into possibly replacing Lugan. So this is a way, it can be really tough to remember exactly, okay, what's going on with this faction, and then the next day it's Oryx. Okay, what was I doing with Oryx? What stage was I farming? What am I working on? Who's booked? So what this is going to be is an opportunity for you to get everything laid out and be able to remember what's going on. You can leave in the notes, I took the gear off my Lugan and put it on my Whirlwind to try and complete Night Rev. So you can really get everything laid out and keep track of exactly what's going on. And then I'll keep working on this. So refer to choflyelite.com, my website. I keep resources there up in the top right. There's a section for raid resources. This is the website here. And as you see here, if you go up to the top right, you can click resources, Raid Shadow Legends. And this is where I keep everything that you would need in your journey to play Raid a little bit more efficiently. And I will add the spreadsheet there. So if you ever want to check in, if you're not working on Faction Wars right now, maybe you're an early game player, you're not going to be working on it for a few months. So check back in a few months. You can go to choflyelite.com. It'll be right there. And by then, I will probably have the spreadsheet even better. I'm going to keep working on this, but I didn't want to wait a long time to get this out there. I didn't want to wait another month or so because Lydia may be coming out in 3 or 4 weeks. We don't know the exact day, but it's going to be sometime soon. So I wanted to get this out as soon as possible, even if it's not perfect. But I will keep working on the master spreadsheet, keep adding things like maybe actually get the actual boss mechanics on the spreadsheet itself, so you don't have to go to a forum or something to find that. I will link to that forum, by the way, if you want to know all the boss mechanics. I will link that down below in a pinned comment so it's easy to find, and I'll also get that on the website as well. So I'm going to keep working on this stuff to make it better and better, but I wanted to get this out right away, like I said, so you guys have something to at least get started in planning your faction war stages and start to tackle that quest to get Lydia, because she's an absolutely amazing champion. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. The main objective of this video was just to get that resource out there to you guys so you have something to really get everything laid out, because there isn't really a handy way to do it in game. So I wanted to get that out to you guys so you have a way to get started in planning your journey, and then to just have a quick discussion about the ranks here of the faction wars and what my experience was like in finishing faction wars, how tough it was for me, and which ones were easy, which ones were hard, so that you would have an idea of what you're going into. So definitely down in the comments, let me know what you think. Which factions are hardest for you? Which ones were easiest? And anything I can do to make the planning resource better, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Anything that you like or dislike, definitely let me know. I would greatly appreciate that, because then I can take that and use it as knowledge to make it better and better, so that the people that go to use this resource in 2 or 3 months will have a better resource than it is today. So yeah, as always, guys, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day, and good luck on your journey towards getting Lydia. Peace.